So the economy's not doing as great as everyone seems to be touting it as. You know, the White House throwing a inflation reduction party. It had James Taylor there. Stock market crashed. A dismal 8.3% inflation rate. All the news, though, is just centered around the whole idea that, well, look what the Democrats did with the Inflation Reduction Act, which has nothing to do with reducing inflation, and it only can increase inflation. And all the other characteristics and all that show that we're in for a bad way. You know, let's look at some of these articles. Here is CNBC finance guru who's ready to say, like, Biden's full of, a calling into Joe Biden's claims inflation is moderating. 𝓟𝓛𔔔𝓐𝓢𔔔 goes off after inflation rises in August. The CPI that they refer to a lot of times is tweaked for energy and housing and all this other stuff, like the core and all that rose a lot more. Instead, everyone pretends like, oh, it's great. Well, it went down a little bit. Yeah, well, the way you calculate it has a lot to do with it.
It's time now for the report. 𝓟𝓛𔔔𝓐𝓢𔔔, hopefully you've got the numbers for it.
Yes, the August numbers for the Consumer Price Index. Headline number expected to be down is up 1/10 instead of down 1/10. And do remember, the high water mark there was in June when it was the highest level since 2005, when it was up 1.3%. Up only 1/10, of course, is the lowest. Well, since last month, we're unchanged. If we strip out the all-important food and energy, and do understand, gas was down, 26% month over month. It's food that we have to pay attention to, up 0.6%, double the expectation. And the high water mark there is up 0.9. That was in April, and that went back to 1981, up 0.6.
1981.
Well, if you look at up 0.7 in June, that's kind of our comp. Now, the year-over-year numbers, expecting up 8%, up 8.3 on year-over-year, up 8.3. High water mark there was, of course, 9.1. That goes back.
And think about how energy prices are going up and going up. Regardless of how gas is doing, they're still attacking fossil fuels. So we're going to start paying a lot more as the world pays a lot more. And we got winter coming up. So the scarcity of these kind of things, people want to heat their houses and everything. And from my understanding is a lot of these countries are going to start actually arresting people if they turn their heat up too high, and rolling blackouts and all this other stuff from power grids. We're in for a world of hurt when it comes to energy. Wall Street outlook darkens as grim inflation report tees up more Fed hawkishness. The Fed, yeah. You don't think they're going to raise the interest rates and stuff like that? They're probably getting ready to do like a whole... they've already done, 2.25 basis points? Many penciling in another 75 basis points at its meeting next week. It'll probably be a full 100. They'll probably start jumping a lot more. And they're doing this, and inflation's not going down. They've been doing this. Inflation is still high. Stubbornly high rents, food prices boost U.S. inflation in August. So food prices, rents shooting up. It all surrounds energy. Energy makes the cost of goods more expensive. It makes the transportation of goods more expensive. It makes a company's operating expenses more expensive. It makes a restaurant's cooking expenses, the energy that they use, more expensive. They pass that on to customers. The customer is you. When all these things go up, it goes up for food. It goes up for your rent. It goes up for everything. And the Fed has the wrong idea, because if it's not working and you're going to keep adding basis points and it's still going up and up and up, you're just going to hurt people. You're going to cause more unemployment. All the companies are showing that that's where they're headed towards. And yet, Biden claims victory anyway. The stats are good. I mean, what was it he said before? Was 0% inflation or something he said before, because it went down slightly, so it's 0% inflation. Yeah, production has fallen off a cliff. Goldman reportedly prepping for layoffs. I incorporated this a little bit into a story I did recently, but all of the big companies are talking about there's just not money out there to grow. There's not money out there to expand and hire people. They're more than 50%, I think it's 52% of companies are talking about layoffs and hiring freezes. What that amounts to is growth will stop. Unemployment will go up. The jobs can be whatever they want with creating jobs and all this talk that Biden is touting, but that's probably a recovery from the shutdowns. And what kind of jobs are those? Are those people getting their second job, their third job? Are those low-paying wages? Because if your wages being attacked by inflation, you're getting a pay decrease. You can buy less. If companies now are going to stop with bonuses, all this other stuff, you're going to start seeing a lot more unions having strikes and stuff like that. I understand. I just saw something about Amtrak, I think now is looking at striking. A lot of these places and teachers' unions and everything, well, we want more money now. Inflation's higher. We want more money. It's time to negotiate. It's time to raise our pay to keep up with inflation. Just your average person doesn't get that. When Trump left office, the average mortgage rate was 2.77%. Today, it's 5.89%. And if you're looking at buying a home, you might want to buy a home soon because it's going to keep going up. The amount you pay, you're assuming you can refinance and it'll be a lot less down the road, but the amount that you pay when the interest rate just climbs like that over the term of your mortgage is huge. If you have a 30-year mortgage, you could be paying for a couple $100,000 home. You could be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more over the course of that just from these kind of changes. But don't worry, because look, like New York Governor Kathy Hochul administration gave COVID test contract to campaign donors company at double the price. Don't worry, they're still getting their money. And meanwhile, over here, there's a recent article. The Army advises struggling military families to apply for food stamps. So I was shocked when I read this. The base salary for an Army private is $21,999.60. Less than $22,000. I just, is that below the poverty line? It seems like it would be. Imagine being in the military as an Army private, making less than $22,000, and then you're stationed in California? California's cost of living well below the national average salary of $53,490 per year based on the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I know my family makes less than that. It's difficult to get by even now with, less than the national average salary. And, I'm in the Midwest, but luckily, things are a lot cheaper here, but prices have increased literally 30% for my food. I'm able to track it. More than 30% for my food over the last year. And, where does this lead? Where does this ultimately end where we're not noticing the signs of the economy just tanking and Joe Biden's throwing parties at the White House like, yay, we did it. And then there's all this waste and spending and, money going towards big pharma and a lot of areas where people are actually hurting and asking for help. It's like, well, just go get on food stamps. Don't worry about those numbers. The core went down. Well, it only went up 0.1%. Ridiculous. If it's at 8.3, it's at 9.1 or whatever. That's not, it just went up. It's 9.1% inflation. And where's this going to lead? The economy's tanking. It won't be long now. All of these things will come to a head, and we'll see what the real benefit of voting in a Democrat that's attacking fossil fuels and thinks that he's got inflation under control. It's transitory, the definition's changed, all this stuff. Well, are they going to change the definition of a depression when we get to that? I guess we'll find out. This all remains to be seen, but I'm telling you, I'm warning you personally that all the signs are there. We're going to go in a bad way here economically, and it is nothing short of a result of Joe Biden's leftist policies attacking fossil fuels and not knowing how to cap and stop spending money, printing money that the government doesn't have, which is inflation. Energy, increases in energy cost because of an attack on fossil fuels. Nothing but inflation, and higher costs for everything, for food. You get your fruits and vegetables shipped across the country, they cost more if the gas costs more to get it to you.